I absolutely hated the last Montech case I built in back in April. I honestly didn't believe someone at Montech had actually tried building in that case. So then they asked me to take a look at a new one, and I was a bit dubious. Plus, I wanted to use the word dubious in a script. Come on, I mean, that's... Now, did the Montech Air 100 change my mind? Well, let's find out right here on Robeytech. So Montech and I have a sordid history, if you could call one case review a sordid history. But we TechTubers are supposed to generate drama, right? Right? Anyway, if you want to see the video I'm talking about, you can check that out right here. But let's put the past in the past, though I was still a bit doubtful. So this time we have the Montech Air 100 ARGB, a no-frills, minimal design, even Montech said so, Micro-ATX airflow case. Coming in at $75.99 as of the time of this recording on Newegg, it's not an expensive case at all. In fact, $23 or so of that is spent on the ARGB version. And that includes 4 RGB fans that come with the case. Now, if you just want the light version, and that's LITE, of the case, it's only $52.99, and it doesn't have fans included. Now, I want to take a moment and stop right here, because at $75.99, this is a value-priced Micro-ATX case. But coming in with 4 fans, understand most come with 3, it doesn't act like a value case. And not only is that with just the fans, but I was really surprised at actually what you got for your money. They're essentially going with a traditional 3 intake and single exhaust setup with what looks to be a well-designed mesh front panel that will still allow for really good cooling. The other super interesting part of this case is the side swivel tempered glass, which I know side swivel tempered glass is nothing new. But for the price, you actually get a very quality latch system, which makes it harder for the thing to randomly unlatch, and it keeps the side from randomly just sliding open when you're moving it around or tossing it during pre-football game warm-ups. You know, I do that with my PC. I mean, don't you do that? Just like, hey, let's throw the old No? Okay. Well, I thought it was cool. Let's just talk about what actually fits in this case then, shall we? For the motherboard, this is a Micro-ATX case, but it also supports mini ITX as well. For CPU coolers, the case allows for heat sinks up to 161 millimeters, and for GPUs, you can get a pretty much any card in there given that the length of the case supports up to 330 millimeters. And you can mount the fans on the outside, or if you want to, you could bring the radiator and the fans on the inside, but understand you're potentially going to lose some room if you end up mounting the radiator and fans on the inside, if that was what you chose to do. For PSUs, this supports standard ATX power supplies up to 160 millimeters, though you can completely remove the hard drive tray, and that gives you a bunch of extra room. Storage, you also get quite a few options, given its size does support up to 4 2.5-inch SSDs or 2 3.5-inch HDDs if you decide to keep the drive tray. For front panel I/O, you also get 2 high-speed USB 3, a USB 2, LED controls, and a microphone and headphone jack. Now finally, for cooling, you can see that this is adopting some ideas from other great cases. For 120mm fans, you can do a total of 7 fans, including the ability, and this is the part that I was talking about earlier, to mount 2 on the inside of the PSU shroud. Now if you wanted to do 140mm fans, you could also do 2 at the top and 2 at the front. Now while we're talking about fans, the one thing that was worth noting is the sheer size of the screw holes on the top of the fan mounts for the top. Unless you are using washers, there's a very good chance that you could use screws that just fall right through and actually not hold the fan in. For AIO mounting, this could potentially be an issue, but for most AIOs I have used, they come with washers and it shouldn't have an issue. Now speaking of radiators, because we're talking about AIOs, so you can do top mounted 120, 140, or 240mm radiators. On the front you can do 120, 140, 240, or 280mm radiator, and have the ability to do a 120mm radiator in the back. Now clearances on the top and the front are good, and if you do want to top mount an AIO or front mount an AIO, it seems like both are viable options with minimal issues during the build. Though for a top mounted AIO, you may need to install your EPS CPU power on the motherboard before mounting your AIO on the top. The other thing that's super cool is there's actually also Velcro channeling in the back for doing cable management, and also the ARGB model, which we received, includes an ARGB hub, 5-volt addressable, which is nice and quite a surprise given the cost of the case. To be honest, when I ended up doing the live teardown of this build on the stream, I was genuinely impressed with what you got in this case, given the price. Not just because you got 4 fans, but a lot of modularity and other things that really come with a case that are usually at a higher price point. Okay, enough about what the case can actually do. let's jump in here and do a build. For the CPU today, we're gonna be using the Ryzen 5 5600X. We're using the Corsair Vengeance Pro RGB Pro SL. This is the Noctua NH LN9A AM4 edition. We're using the Aorus B550M, the Pro P. We're gonna be using the XPG Spectrix S20G. This is the EVGA 3060 Ti for the Win 3. This is a low hash rate. This is an LHR card. The Montech Gamma 2 750 watt PSU. The new Lian Li AL120 fans. I don't know, what do you guys think? $1,400. Okay guys, let's go ahead and start building this PC and we'll go from here. Okay, here we go right here. A Ryzen 5 5600X. We're just gonna stick that in just like that. Pop it in. This is that XPG, that special thing. I'm excited. I'm gonna see, we need to see, ooh, wow, that sits right down. I think it'll be okay. I'm gonna grab the GPU real quick and just see if the GPU sits in here before we keep this. It's in there. The RGB M.2 is covered completely by the 3060 Ti. That is useful RGB. It is so hidden. We'll take off the heatsink because we don't need it. We'll put it up at the top. There we go, look at that. Now you can see it. RGB, awesome. Next thing we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna install that new low profile cooler. Okay, there we go. The board is ready, the cooler's done. So this is the Montech, it's called the Air 100. It's got this like cool little latch system for opening the glass. This one actually comes with an RGB hub built into it. Here's all of your stuff included. You can remove the drive tray. It does use rubber grommets in all of these places. You've got removable SSD mounts. Wow, I'm actually pretty impressed already, given that this is a budget air case. So we're gonna go and remove our fans real quick. Let's see how this is gonna look. This is gonna look really good. Oh, I need to put some standoffs in. Look at that. That looks good. Okay, here we go. We're gonna put in this last fan. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add one more exhaust fan. Okay, so this is the first issue that I've had. I have the ones from here, and look, I was like, oh, screw it in. Oh, look, they go right through. That's the first problem we've hit on this case. Let's hook up our front panels and hook up our fans real quick and just kind of get the rest of this done. Now let's go and do GPU time. PSU time. You can just simply make sure that our back goes on and we're good to go. Goes on easily, that's nice. I was worried a little bit. Okay, build is put back together. On and on, boom. Well, there you have it, a full build in the Montech Air 100 ARGB. But given this is supposed to put the air in airflow, let's go through thermals. So for thermals on our Montech Air 100 in a slightly positive pressure configuration using those new sweet Lian Li AL120 fans, they were as follow. Oh, and one thing worth noting here is that for the CPU cooler here, we were using the Noctua NH-L9A AM4 low profile CPU cooler. So on our Ryzen 5 5600X at idle in the open case, which means all the panels were removed, we saw a nice and frosty 39 degrees, for which when we pop in all the panels, it only jumps a couple of degrees to 41. But what about when we put it under load? Again, the case handles it quite well and only a single digit jump to 80 when we pop on all the panels. For CPU, we do indeed have a Micro-ATX case that has great airflow. Oh, and better yet, when this case is paired with the low profile cooler from Noctua, which I was talking about earlier, it had zero, and I do really mean zero issues keeping up with that 5600X. Okay, so we have no issues with the CPU. What about the GPU, Robey? Well, I'm glad you asked. In open case idle, the GPU was sitting at a very cool 31 degrees and saw only a 5-degree jump to 36 degrees when we popped on all the panels. Good numbers again, and the GPU is definitely getting plenty of air. But when we start those thirsty cat meme renders, will we see the temp jumps? Are they gonna get crazy? Well, not really. We saw 67 in the open case scenario and only a 2-degree difference of 71 in the closed case scenario. So what does that mean? Well, it means for the both GPU and the CPU that this case does a dang good job of letting the fans do their job and cool the components. It also means that if you wanted to use that sweet Noctua NH-L9A AM4 and read that title 53,000 times, you could, because, you know, that, I still don't remember it. But if you wanted to use it in an airflow case like this, or like the P200A or the TD500 or the P500A with the 5600X, you will absolutely not be disappointed. Okay, so enough about thermals. Let's talk about the build config and take on some games. What do you guys say? First up, it's single-player RTX experiences. Given this is an NVIDIA GPU paired with a Ryzen 5 5600X, this is an EVGA 3060 Ti FTW3. Now let's talk about Tomb Raider, which is running at 1440p with DLSS on the highest preset. We saw an average frame rate of 119 FPS across all the runs we did in the game. Great numbers. For Metro Exodus, again running at 1440p, running with ray tracing on, and DLSS set to balance, we saw an average frame rate of 54.45 FPS. Not quite 60, and if you want to see that number be more consistent, you could drop down the overall graphics settings or maybe potentially do 1080p. Now, new to the round are some games that are more tuned for AMD experiences. Now, first up is Dirt 5 running at 1440p with ultra high graphics settings. We saw an average frame rate of 71.4, and that is more than good enough for some solid racing. Or racing, or whatever word I was going to use there. Lastly, and rounding out the single player experiences, was Borderlands 3 running with the highest graphical preset, called Badass, unfortunately. We saw an FPS average of 75.18, which is completely solid. But what about the MP games? I mean, who plays single player experiences anymore? We all have all the friends we want. Okay, well, enough of that rant. Well, for Apex Legends running on low visual settings at 1440p, optimized for competitive gameplay and high FPS, we saw an average frame rate of 243.9 FPS across our multiple game sessions. For Call of Duty Warzone on low visual settings at 1440p, again set for competitive and having Kevin shot multiple times, we saw an average frame rate of 164.4 FPS. And finally for Fortnite, crushed that 360 FPS barrier, coming in at a nice and fluid 424.3 FPS. Well, Montech did it. They did a great Micro-ATX airflow case. And unlike the Montech Sky One, this was an absolute delight to build in. Minus the screw holes at the top, you know, that need to hold the fans, but you know, you could fix that with washers. The case is very minimal, so there isn't anything that is going to set it apart visually. It's very no frills in the visual department, and not sure people are gonna like that Montech writing on the PSU shroud. But when you look beyond what's just visible, there's actually a lot of value in what you get for your money. The quality latch, the modularity, the ARGB fans, and the RGB hub are all things I would expect in a case that is at a much higher price point. Oh, and not to mention the case is also really good at airflow. So if you're looking for a small form factor Micro-ATX case that has no frills, is easy to build in, and the experience is great, and it performs awesome, then look no further than the Montech Air 100. So what do you think of the Montech Air 100? I mean, is it your kind of thing? I mean, do you want more frills? I mean, the RGB shows up pretty good. Were you surprised as we were? Because, I mean, honestly, that Sky One review was a bit scary. And is this a case you would actually purchase? We would love to know all of that down in the comments below. Now, while you're down there, make sure you slap that subscribe button with that like button and ring that notification bell so you get a notification each and every time we go live or produce a video right here on Robeytech. Now, speaking of live, we have a live show every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday now, starting at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We also have an incredible community you should be a part of over on discord.gg/Robeytech, where you can ask your tech questions, talk about tech, all those other stuff. We also have an awesome site now, robeytechdeals.com. If you're looking for tech deals, you can make sure you can follow that out. We have a bunch of deals and we're pulling them all the time. Tom is a bot and he finds the best stuff if you actually want to know and get cheap tech. Lastly, follow us on all the socials. We're on TikTok doing the dances. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere, and all of it's at Robeytech. Anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video. We're super excited to see you on the next one.